Hey, how's it going? So today in this video, welcome back to the channel, Tim Blake Art. Sorry, I got a little ahead of myself. Today in the video, what I'm going to go over is how to take apart and refill a POSCA Uni POSCA marker with golden SOFLAT high flow acrylics. All right, so let's get started. Right here, what I did was I brought in a tub of water, empty cup. I filled up this little tie-dye bottle. It's one they have at Michael's with water, so I can clean this out on camera instead of doing it at a sink, because I feel like that would be easier and more clear to see. So I'm going to take this top off. Now this is reverse threaded, so righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Normally turn this way. I think I'm taking it off. How about that? You might need a pair of pliers. They have a little bit of glue on here to keep the lid nice and sealed whenever you originally purchase it. Can you see that? There's the nib. Now, I already refilled this once, actually shooting the first time that I shot this video, and it didn't go good. So, well, I didn't like it, so I stopped. Okay, I pulled the nib out, and you have a little foam piece in there. And what I'm going to do is throw this into the water, both of those. And I'm going to take out the pump. This is the pump right here on top. And I'm going to take it out. It's always good to keep a rag or wipes. Actually, keep wipes around as well. Let's see. You kind of got to work your finger, your nail under here, or a screwdriver. Normally I use a screwdriver. Can you even see this? I just realized. My apologies. So this is sitting in here. It comes out. Throw that into the water as well. There we go. All right. And in here you're going to have, you have that little ball that keeps the paint from becoming too, well, drying up and not keeping its consistency, to be able to keep it shooken up or shaked up, shooken up. So I'm going to fix this camera first so you could see what I'm doing. All right. Can you see? Yeah, there we go. All right, and so I'm going to pour this out into here, into this empty cup. And you heard that ball fall in here. And it's actually, here, I'll show you, it's in the cup. I'm going to just set this over here. I probably can't see it, actually. No, can't see. All right, so I'm going to grab this ball out. There we go. So just set that to the side. I'm gonna wipe my fingers off so I can grab these other parts. Now I just have these soaking in here, the different pieces. The pump, the cap, the little balls in there. So I'm gonna grab this ball out first so I don't forget, because it's just a little metal ball. And I'm gonna set it over here. Actually, I'm gonna set it on my little napkin, or not napkin, but towel I have. And then I'm going to pull out the cap. I remember we have this little sponge in here. So I'm gonna put my finger in there and push it so the excess paint comes out of the bottom. Now that's where this comes into play. Also, this little bottle of water. And if you're using a sink, you won't have to use this bottle of water. So you'll just take these pieces apart at the sink and throw them. Still, you want to have a cup of water so they can sit and soak in the cup of water while you clean this tube out, the marker tube. So I'm going to spray some water in here out of this, and I'm going to keep doing this until it's clear. Like I said, for the sake of this, is just for the video. I'm doing this for the sake of the video. And you want to make sure you get it clear, because whenever you put the nib back in, or whatever color you're going to use, if it's not, it's going to come out onto your nib. It's going to mix the color. All right, so this is clear actually. So I'm gonna just set this to the side over here with that little ball that came out of the tube. And I'm gonna take the squirt bottle and I'm gonna squirt water into the marker, put my thumb over the end, and I'm gonna shake it to loosen up any excess paint in there and just pour it into this cup of water. And I'll do this until it's clear. And it usually takes you like 3 or 4 times maybe. Whenever you're doing it at the sink, it doesn't take that long. Before I get too far, let me take this little pump out before it blends in. And see, I'm not filling it up, I'm just getting it just enough to move around, because if it has too much in it, then it can't actually clean it and get swished around. There we go, that's clean. See, that was 3 times. So since I have some more water left in here, I'm gonna rinse this out too. Sometimes you'll throw these in the water and they'll kind of clean themselves off, and other times they won't. There we go. Make sure to push this like little top down, because it's the pump. And it just helps clearing out water too. There we go, it's all clear. So we're gonna set that down right there. I have some wipes I'm gonna use. All right. I don't know why I thought a wipe was gonna get that up. So I do have a nib in here in this cup. I'm gonna try to find, there we go. Now, these nibs can be very needy, I'll put it that way, to get clean. So you kind of want to roll it while it's in the water and try to get it, you know, cleaned off as much as possible. It's easier to do in the sink for sure, this is. The other parts I've actually kind of got used to not using the sink, but I do recommend to use the sink for easier, you know, don't have to worry about avoiding getting anything wet, so on and so forth. And running water. It's good to have. Only reason I'm honestly cleaning this nib is because I just made this recording the original video that I didn't like. So this is a brand new nib because I've barely used this marker at all. Honestly, it was just a day or 2 ago that I recorded the video and I rewatched it and didn't like it. So I'm just now getting to making the new one, which is going to go up today when I'm done recording it. All right, so there we go. It's pretty clean for the most part. I mean, it's going to have some coloration because it's blue and it was white. There we are. Oh, there we go. All right, so now we have all of our pieces clean. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna move all of this out of the way so we can get to the fun part, and that's mixing the paint. Be right back. All right, so I went ahead and got rid of the water cup and that cleaned up. So now we're ready to actually mix our paint. For that, what you're gonna need is your golden SOFLATs. I have these white and blue. I bought this little 6-pack. It comes in a pack. I got this from Michael's and I really enjoy it. I am in love with these paints. I'm just excited. Yeah. So this is just like a little 6-pack. I believe it was 60 bucks. Sorry, I didn't mean to kick the camera. And I will put the link in the description. Now, I'm trying to think of what color I want to use, and I'm not sure, to be honest. So as far as your marker goes, you should have the marker 2, the little ball, the little shaker ball, your pump, your nib, and your cap, and your lid. So we're gonna set those right there. I'll always try to get the little shaker ball back in there as fast as I can, and as well as putting this pump on so that doesn't come out. I kind of sometimes will just put it all back together, depending if I have something I'm laying it on so it can dry out. Now, with the paint, what we're gonna need is open thinner by Golden. It's called Golden Open Thinner. And it's going to help thin out this paint because it's kind of thick with 1 part water, and then that gives it the right consistency to be able to flow fluidly through the markers whenever you use them, and to pump and shake and all that. So this is a requirement. Well, I can't say requirement because I don't know if you could do it without. I just go off of what I learned and learned from Golden. I watch her YouTube channel. Also, you're gonna need syringes. I knew I was missing something.
Here's what I found.
No, thank you. You're gonna need syringes. Now, I got these from Michael's near the Resin crafts. That's where they were. They didn't come with these tips, but I had these tips from a cartridge refilling kit for printers. So that's why I have those tips, but I'm sure you can make a tip. Also, I forgot that I had these tips and used these without tips the first few times, and it was completely fine. It's just a lot easier to reach into the containers if you have a tip, or you can get a different kind of syringe, any kind of syringe really. You just want it to have milliliters, maybe. I don't really know how much bigger a liter would be, but these are just the right size, in my opinion, for the amount of paint that we're going to be making or using or mixing and using. Also, glass jars. I got 4 of these glass jars from Michael's for $5.99. I just went and got these for this video because these are actually better than the cups I was using, which were like the little plastic cups, Jello shot cups, or what I call them, or I guess condiment cups is what you would call them. And so these are way better. They're glass, they're sturdy, they're not going to crush like if something was to fall on them like a plastic cup would. Also, this lid is, yeah, it's just air sealed, it's tight, it's totally worth the money to get these glass jars. And you're able to make enough to save, so whenever you run out of a color, you can just take your syringe, get some of your mixture out, and refill your marker, and you're good to go, versus going through all these steps each time. Though this is still saves money, it's just about making it convenient as well as saving money, because if it's not convenient and it is something that you dislike, then you're better off just to go buy another POSCA marker or any other kind of marker. I just have decided to start doing this because I can create my own colors. I can use these with a brush or without, and it just is a better fit for me, and I enjoy the paints. These are really good quality paints. I can't explain enough how good they are. They have self-leveling qualities whenever you use them with a brush and when you use them as a marker. It's just understanding and learning the right kind of recipe. That's the key to this, is knowing which colors use what amount of open thinner or water versus the other, because they're not all the same opaqueness. So you have to be careful of how much open thinner or how much water to use, or you will have a lighter, more translucent paint that comes out. It's all part of the learning. I haven't mastered it yet. I've just realized that after doing multiples. I believe there's 66 colors of these, or 64 or something like that, of the SOFLATs. There may be less than that. Don't quote me on that. So what the recipe or the amount it takes is 1 part water. So that'd be 1 milliliter, sorry. 1 milliliter of golden open thinner and 3 milliliters of SOFLAT paint. So that's 1 part water, 1 part thinner, 3 parts paint. That is what I've learned to be the perfect ratio. Now, if you want to double it, then you would do, well, you would double each part. So you'd have 2 parts water, 2 parts open thinner, and 6 parts paint. I feel like it's better to be more on a reserve with the water versus the open thinner, because the open thinner will at least keep the paint wet, whereas the water will really thin it out and you can't do anything with it. And by that I mean it will be too translucent. It won't keep its opaqueness. Whereas with the open thinner, it will just make it more fluid, if that makes sense. So a high flow acrylic is more fluid and it's easier to use because it's ready to go. You can use it for airbrushes, with a brush, with a pen, with markers. Whereas a fluid acrylic is a little bit more like soft serve ice cream. This is, you get melted ice cream. Fluid acrylics, soft serve ice cream. Frozen yogurt. I don't know frozen yogurt, but I would say kind of like frozen yogurt. Maybe the fluid acrylics are more like frozen yogurt. And these would be more like, I don't know, ice cream, I suppose, a soft serve maybe. But that's, yeah. So if you could mark a jar, you can even take a jar. I've seen them do this. I've seen people do this. I say them, and mark it with 5 even lines. Then you could use that if you don't have something to measure it out. Anything that you can measure out equally into parts, you can do to mix this. That's just key. It's the equalness in the amount of each. 1 part water, 1 part open thinner, and 1 part paint. So I'm going to add those things to this jar. I still have not decided what color I want to use. That's the part that's holding me up. I should have already knew this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out my 1 part open thinner. All right. All right. So right there, we're just above 1 part because 1 part would be 1 milliliter. So I'm going to put some of this back in. There we go. That's 1 milliliter because this is 1 milliliter, the black little rubber piece. So from the top of this to where the black is 1 milliliter. All right. And then, oh, where did I do this lid? There it is. I didn't get my water. I took it all and poured it out. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm gonna take my water bottle. And I'm gonna pour some water into this empty glass. All right. And I'm gonna have a drink of water. All right, so I'm going to pour 1 milliliter of water into this jar. Into this tube. So now we have 1 part water, 1 part open thinner into this because we're on the 2 milliliters. So we have 1 and 1. Now, you can do this separately instead of doing it all together, by all means. I'm just doing this for the sake of the video. Also think that when it comes to the thinner and the water, it's easier to measure out having them together so you know that you have equal parts. With the paint, I do it in a separate syringe. So then, you know, just to keep all that separate. Sometimes I do just squirt it straight into the bottle and from the syringe instead of putting it into a tube. But I would like to put it into a tube, into the glass container for the sake of the video, so to show you guys. So I'm going to put this in first. This is the cap too. So then the color I'm going to make, I don't want to do blue again. I do have plenty of blue. I think I may need some black and a pen. So we'll do black. I've been wanting to try to mix colors, but I don't know how that's gonna work. But I want to try it. So let's do this. Since this is 3 parts, I'm going to go 1.5 of red and 1.5 of blue. Or do I want to do 1.5 of green? No, I want a purple. So I'm going to, oh wait, crap. I made an air bubble. All right, so right there we have 1.5 of red, 1.5 milliliters. And I'm going to squirt that in here. All right. Now, I have a blue, this blue actually, that I believe I want to use instead of this blue. This is a test blue, but it's a different blue than this blue, I've realized. This is an ultramarine blue, and this is a, we're going to say, it's another name that I can't pronounce. Cerulean blue. It's a really pretty vibrant blue. The purple that I want is kind of why I want to use this blue. I think that it will give me the purple that I'm trying to achieve. Or achieve, I don't know why I said that. That seems like it's going to be too difficult. We're going with this. So, we're going to do 1.5 of ultramarine blue. That's wild. All I see is red. But we have 1.5 and no mix. So that's pretty rad. So we're going to put it in here. All right. Normally it's good to have a cup of water because then you can throw in your syringes, let them soak while you're doing the rest of this. So now that we have our 3 parts of paint, 1 part water, 1 part thinner, I'm going to close this up and then we're going to give it a good, well, actually I want to stir it up. I'm going to stir it, but you can shake it. Either or works. I just decided I wanted to stir it for the sake of, I can't get this piece out, this spatula. There we go. Here we go. All right. So we're gonna mix this up. This is why it's good to just shake it instead. It's kind of looking a little crazy at the moment, so we might be shaking it and hoping some magic happens. It's giving me more of a burnt color, but burnt red, though I'm into it, I'm not gonna lie. It's a weird color, but I like it. It's a weird purple. I don't know what color this is. I'm gonna shake this. It's like a violet. No, well, not a violet. It's definitely not a violet. It's like a, I almost think of a burnt umber, but it's more on the red side. It's definitely very much of a red violet or a maroon, maybe. So we're gonna shake this. Or we could just say brown. We were going for purple, but can't really say that's what we got here. Brown works. It's like a burgundy, really. It's kind of interesting. But I think it's because of the ultramarine blue. Like, in that red, they just aren't, those aren't the mixing colors. And I feel, I'm sorry if I'm not putting the paint in front of the camera. It's a little late now to say sorry, but I can't tell. There's the color. It's a neat color. It really is like a burnt red. Look at this. This is the POSCA, and this is this. Now, obviously it's POSCA, but see, they seem very close. So I must have had more red than blue. That blue is so tricky to work with. I've used this blue before, and I thought it was the same thing before. It was tricky because it's not as opaque, it's thinner, it's more translucent. You can see right here. Also, by looking at this little square, lets you know how opaque it is. See, the white's the same way. Yellow's the same way. Black is not. Green is not. The red is the same way. Now, I'm not sure if that, I thought that that was the opaqueness. I'm pretty sure it is, not sure for like exactly. But then you also have ASTM 1. I believe this is the amount of light or how it absorbs light or reflects light. So I was thinking that may be different, but see, this one has 1 and this one has 1, but this one's opaque and this one isn't as opaque. So I'm not sure if that's what that means. Or I guess that could mean the same thing. I don't know. I can't decide if I want to use this. It's an interesting color, so it makes me want to. Because I like that it's not your plain Jane color. but I want to make it into something, I don't know, that I would actually use. So I'm wondering if I add yellow, what will happen? Or maybe just a hint of this. We're gonna add a hint of this good blue. All right. I think that was a please help squirt. All right. Let's see if it does. Not really. I don't think I added enough for it to help. It did make it dark. This is a very interesting color because it has very violet undertones. Sorry if that's really loud for me tapping that. All right, so let's pull this out of here into the tube. It's very violent. It's giving me violet vibes, for sure. Yeah, it's giving me violet vibes. I dig it. It's very, very deep violet. I dig that. It's a cool color. I'll probably never be able to make it again. So I'm going to go ahead and add this. Oh, I just almost lost this little, there we go. Lost the little shaker ball. All right, so then you just take your syringe and you just fill up your pen like that. Now I really want, this is the only thing about mixing them in something this size is that all the excess that gets on the sides, which I have learned that you can get it out. You just have to put some thinner in it, swish it around, and let it sit, and it will all settle, and you can just go in with the syringe and get the rest of it out. But my suggestion for using these containers are if you're going to actually make more than enough for just one filling, because then otherwise it's not really worth it to do that. But like I said, I wanted to do that to show you for this video. But I do, like I have a black one that I've done like that because then I can just easily refill all of my blacks whenever they go empty, or if I buy new size pens or so on and so forth, or markers, then I have black on hand. And I know it's a flat black, whereas like I have this high flow acrylic black, but see, the thing is, this is something else too that's like so different about all of the SOFLATs is that they are matte. Well, they say SOFLAT matte, but yeah. And all the high flows are like your normal acrylics. They have that sheen, that shine to them, that acrylic finish. So they aren't matte. And you can tell whenever you use a fluid acrylic, a high flow acrylic, a regular acrylic on or with any kind of, you know, like a POSCA or golden SOFLATs, because they are a different finish. So that is the thing. One way to balance them out is to actually spray them with a varnish. That does help. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It really just, you know, depends on what the art is vibing, how it feels. Because I feel like the art gods, you know, sometimes they're like, you're about to ruin this. I always get so worried when I varnish something that's like not a print or something like that, and I just go varnish it. I'm just like, I don't know what's gonna happen here. But you just have to do it and wish for the best. And so right now I'm just shaking this up in the pan and getting it pumping. And sometimes when you pump these, because you've cleaned it out, you'll have water that comes out. So it's gonna be very like, you know, you'll pump it, you can see water droplets. And that's because it's still wet. So if you know, you could clean out all your markers in advance and then sit down and do this, or you can do them as you go, whichever you know, whichever works for you. Everyone has their own vibe, their own style of doing things. There we go, it's coming through. I do like this color. All right, let's see. I'm gonna put this lid on there. These little glass jars are awesome. I'm gonna go get all of them that they have because I like them a lot. And they have a lot of cool fluorescent colors in these SOFLATs. They actually have a fluorescent violet. I cannot wait to pick that up. I want all the fluorescents. I love working in fluorescent colors in general, but I definitely want to try that fluorescent violet. Yes, it's pumping through. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There we go. I dig it. I dig it. So there's our purple. It's a plum. That's the color. I kept calling it violet, and I was like, no, it's not violet. It's plum. Yeah. I dig it. I wanted to show you. I hope that, okay, two things. First, I hope that this helped. I hope that you try this at least once. Let me know how it does for you. If you like it, if you don't like it, I mean, like, I totally understand too. This is just a way to be conscious of how, as creatives, we create trash and all of those kind of things, and just to be more friendly, because every time you use a POSCA and you throw it away, it's just kind of, it's just, you know, this doesn't disintegrate. So just be wary of that. And there's no refills for them. And so that's why ever since I've started using them, I made sure that I just searched the entire time for a refill that was going to be matte as well and was going to just kind of live up to the expectations that I wanted out of it. Also give me the experience of a POSCA, but still have the finish and all that and the quality. So whenever they released these, I was super excited because until then I couldn't find anything but POSCAs. So yeah, I just really wanted to share that because too, you're not always sitting in a position, like if you're in the middle of working on something, you may not want to get up and go run to the store, but it would be nice to have the materials there at home or your studio, wherever you're at, to whip up a refill, or if you already have refills made, it just saves time and money in the end. And so that's something that I thought was important to share, as well as, like I said, just being mindful of how much damage we do to the earth with our waste and things like that. So yeah, I really hope that you enjoyed the video. I hope that you try this. It's really awesome. You know, try different stuff. This is just kind of one way that I've went about it, and I've enjoyed it. So I just really wanted to share that with all of you creatives. And I wanted to show you one more thing when it comes to the POSCAs. The nibs, I usually just replace the nibs, but like I said, I had just recorded a video of using this marker prior and I put a new nib in it. But that's because I bought these nibs off of Amazon. So yeah, I'll link them in the description below. And you get 3 or 4 in a pack. I believe you get 3 packs. It's either 4 packs of 3 or 3 packs of 4, I believe. And they were only $5, $6 maybe. So it's a super good deal. They're on Amazon. So whenever you do run out and you want to refill with a new color and you don't want to clean the nib or all that, then you can just pop a new one in and throw that nib away. Or you could clean it out if you want to be better about your waste. But this compared to this, you know, it's like which one is worth throwing away. Also, if you use POSCAs and you may not know already, and some of you may know, you can just flip these around, and the ones that you're using as well, and they're reversible bullet tips. So if you flatten out one side, you can flip it over and have a fresh bullet tip to continue using. So I just love that too. And it also works in the 1M as well, the smaller one. That's the 5M, and then this is the 1M, which I take all the labels off of the markers that I've refilled myself. That way I don't think that it's an original, and I remember to actually pay attention to what color may be in it. I usually try to, well, what I'm going to try to do, and I usually try to, is replace the same colors that I have in POSCAs with the same color of refills. So at least I don't confuse myself. But for instance, like this, I have a blue one. I have multiple blue POSCAs that aren't dead. So I had used the fluorescent yellow left that I had dead to shoot the first video. Obviously it's a plum now. I have a maroon purple or maroon POSCA, and I have a purple one, but it's a bigger one. It's a 8K. So yeah, that's that. But I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please hit the thumbs up button below and make sure to subscribe and tap the little bell if you want to get notifications whenever I post another video or whenever I go live. Thank you again for watching my video. All of the views and the likes really do help, and I appreciate it. And I plan to share more with you and keep sharing as long as you like it. So thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.